It's the Rundown. It's brought to you by Hooters. It's the presenting sponsor of the Sportsbook House in Philly. And they are gassed up. They're jacked up to be down with us for football season and the new house in Philly. So it's Hooters is our go-to spot for wings, for beer, for football, for sports, for the sports book. And the best part of all, on top of getting your beer and wings and sports and, some of the scenery. You also, this month in October, we are focusing on raising money to fight breast cancer with donations all benefiting the V Foundation. Guests can round up their check at the restaurant, make a donation online at hooters.com/give, or buy one of our select handful of pink drinks. Featured cocktails on the menu where the proceeds will go to the cause. You can also order on the Hooters app and use code STOOL for $10 off any order over $30. So check out Hooters, check out the app, promo code STOOL for $10 off. Jeff D Lowe, your Cleveland Indians they're so lucky the Twins exist because the Twins are the most useless franchise in baseball, but God damn it, the Indians are right there. One time for me, guys.
8 in a row now. They've lost 8 in a row of their own now.
Wow.
Dating back to blowing the 2-0 lead.
8 games or 8 series?
8 games.
8 games.
Eight
Okay.
games.
I mean,
the Twins are
that
at
would be impressive
insurmountable
if
at
18
18.
didn't exist.
Yeah, they're like
But-
2-8 since they blew the World Series.
And when you factor in that they are just going to let Lindor walk, when they're telling their fans, we are not going to spend money and there's nothing you can do about it.
Lindor fucking was not being quiet about that either today.
No.
They're not being quiet about it. I mean, when you say
he played like
what
ass
the famous
during the
quote
season.
was when other teams hand out the first $1 billion contract, that's when we'll hand out our first $300 million contract.
That's what they said?
Yes. This was months ago. So they just
Ooh,
all
I
but
missed
said,
that.
yeah. So I honestly wouldn't blame anybody. I actually commend you for still having even a shred of.
Yeah, people
the Wilpons
got
have been
on me
terrible,
because
but they
I
never
gave
said
up on
that.
them. I gave up on them pretty quickly into the season, and then they went almost a 10-game losing streak 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then they beat the White Sox, who, I don't know, our White Sox fans made it seem like they didn't even care in that series. And then they beat the Pirates, and people were like, all the Yankees fans like, I don't really want to face the Indians. Like, you're all idiots.
I kept. Thinking that, well, I guess
He over Wednesday night.
Shane
What
Bieber
did you
was
guys
supposed
watch?
to fucking.
He should not have. I didn't
he
expect him
got-
to get tagged like that.
He got
but
butchered, man.
They absolutely not. It's sad. They didn't move. The loss didn't move the needle for me.
Well,
because I was so
I would
irritated with them to
say,
begin with.
I understand where you're coming from on the big picture, but that game specifically, when it's a back and forth slobber knocker, and you regain the lead 3 times in the late innings.
You go up 4-0 in the first, right?
Yeah.
You go up 4-0 in the first.
And then
had
a lead in the ninth, or at least
had
in
a
the
lead
eighth.
in the ninth.
So,
Yeah, he hadn't blown a save all year. Most hated player on the team too, Brad Hand.
Did you say they had not blown a save all year?
He had not blown a save all year.
Oh, he had not, but they as a team obviously had. No?
Unless there's I don't think they did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brad Hand.
He was 60%, but
I
he's
haven't watched it much,
consistently
but if
the
your
most
name's Brad
hated
Hand,
person on the team.
that kid's got to suck.
People act like he went 0 for 16 on save. That's how much he's hated. And so I said the other day, it's inevitable he'll blow a save in the postseason.
So
Just got that done early.
I love talking to people like you, Jeff, because I'm pretty irrational, but I still can think rationally about my teams. When some of these fans get blinded, the Jets might make a run, man, or the Mets, they've got it this year, and it's no, they fucking don't. And I can tell that you've just all but given up,
They really went for it the year they won 20-something in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They signed Edwin Encarnacion, they traded for Jay, they went for it, and they lost. They blew a big lead to the Yankees. Ironically, Gio Urshela on the Indians played like ass at Yankee Stadium, and then last night he just destroyed them.
He was awesome.
Absolutely
in
poetic.
the field, at the
But then
plate.
after that, they're like, yeah, mediocre's fine.
Jared
being
had a
bland.
quote tweet. You were saying that it's nice that Jeff is kind of rational. Jared had a quote tweet this morning. By the way, Jared up early this morning too. Me and him were both up at 7:15 this morning. I think it's very surprising for both of us.
Yeah.
But he had quote tweeted some Indians fan being like, "I love judging by the replies to this tweet, Indians fans are the most rational." Something,
Twins.
something.
Twins.
Oh, that was Twins.
Yeah, Indians fans aren't
okay.
rational.
It was
Yeah.
a Twins fan.
Well, Twins fans are very self-aware right now
The
that they
first
know.
reply to it was just, "You throw the ball so hard." That was it. That was the most liked reply to that tweet, or at least the first one that popped up for me.
Well,
just, "You throw the ball so hard."
Twins fans can't possibly be anything other than what the fuck?
What
because
could they
after
first be?
Yeah, I would not be that positive. That's insane.
No, I don't even think they're positive. I think they're just this is the worst thing
numb
ever.
to it?
Yeah, I mean, I got as a fellow loser fan, Console. I extend my warm welcome. Like, yeah, you guys are the kings right now. You're the mayors of like Loserville. It is staggeringly bad.
It's inconceivable.
It is.
It's
18 in a row is
inconceivable
it's
to
almost
lose
it really is
18
impossible.
baseball games in a row.
Now, every series fine,
I might say it's more impressive than losing 16 football games in a row. Losing 18, and
because yes, of course.
That means you had multiple different good teams.
Yes, that's the thing. Like when I told him, there are plenty of teams that could say we haven't won their last time they won was 2004. Johan Santana pitched and Joe Nathan closed it out. That was the last time the Twins won a playoff game. There's plenty of teams who could say we haven't won a playoff game in 16 years because they don't make it. To make it 8 times, I think it comes out to be, and lose all of them is
6 times. No, 7 times.
It's 5,
10, 15.
It's 5
16,
division
17.
series, 1 wild card game, and 2. Yeah. Right. I mean, that is like so many fucking times to be a good team and not win a single
But
ball
even
game.
with like football, like you're still putting out the same team. So if you have a shit team, you're putting out the shit team
Every time,
Like,
yeah.
You're putting out a new pitcher. Right? You can change up the lineup a little bit. You're probably starting
a new
better
starter
players,
is a
but,
great
like,
point.
A new
they
starter.
haven't had one pitcher just be like, well, the rest of you guys fucking stink,
Right.
but I'm gonna throw a complete game or something like that.
Maybe
somewhere
like
along the way.
I watch Major League to watch the Indians win something. Like, do Twins fans watch the last 90 seconds of Moneyball when they beat the Moneyball? Like, there it was. That was the moment.
In general, I would say baseball the playoffs is like a big flop right now. It's just too much. It's just it's hard to watch. I'm missing big moments. I feel like these are games I wish I could have watched in its entirety, and instead I'm trying to keep up with everything, and I think it's just overwhelming.
I agree with that. I think because there are some mornings when you just have like so much shit to do that day. You're like, I'm just gonna fucking stay in bed and fucking skip all of it.
I'd rather do
if
none
you
of
give
it.
me fucking over 12 hours of baseball, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong.
No,
I'm not
I can
complaining about it.
like, when
I'm just saying it's hard to keep up.
They used to do on like TBS. It would be like a 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and then a West Coast game. That I can do. I can do the hours. It's when there's 12 hours of baseball with like 10 games. It's like
They
too
don't
much.
feel like playoff games, and I don't know why, but when they go to the bubble, I think it will. I think it's because it's neutral. Like whenever you see someone in a neutral site, you just assume it's a tournament, and it just feels like a playoff thing.
I said that about
it's a
the
weird feel.
NHL and NBA bubbles. They felt like playoffs to me.
Yeah.
The baseball. I mean, you can just see. I don't know what they'll do. Hopefully, they do something like what hockey did. They can't do what basketball did with the screens, but like hockey at least like covered the seats, so it didn't look as empty.
I mean, it'll probably be a lot of these games. They could probably do like Fox does the digital
I
fans.
hate
Like that.
That's the worst.
That's what they're gonna do.
And then certain angles, the fans are superimposed over the players because they don't have the
No.
technology.
I don't
That's
care
what's
for
gonna
that.
happen because a lot
Just
of the games
make
are
it
gonna be on
fucking.
Fox and
Just put like when when
put advertisements over it and just fucking.
advertisements or just like team logos or fucking something to make it look a little more studio-esque rather than just, I don't know, the empty
Empty
seats
seats.
really suck a lot of air out of it.
They'll be allowing up to, I think, 11,000
11-5
fans
at the World Series,
Yeah.
which I'm thinking
Only
about.
in Texas,
And
though.
at the
for the World
NL
Series.
site.
I think I'm gonna buy those tickets and scalp them. And then there's gonna be some crazy ass people who would pay a lot of money. For that.
You
Absolutely.
think so?
I mean, if your team makes it, 11,500.
Depends
Everybody
what
has
team
to
you're
travel.
talking about too, though.
Yeah, but I think there's a great chance this year for somebody to sneak in because I think all of these games are a crapshoot, even the 1-8s and the 2-7s. So if the fucking Marlins somehow snuck in or
Absolutely
something,
rooting for the Marlins to win the World Series.
I can't root for Jeter.
Another undefeated playoffs for them would be
Those
incredible.
motherfuckers have been in the playoffs twice and they won the World Series twice.
They're one away from
Sons
still
of
never losing. Like they
bitches.
have another chance to win another series.
I cannot root for Derek Jeter, though, who is one of the other topics here on the rundown. Mariah Carey has a memoir out, and so TMZ had some quotes from it. She said that Derek Jeter was a sensual lover with his honey-dipped skin,
Ooh.
and that the first time they got together, they didn't have sex because they thought it would cheapen their romance for her to be having an affair while she was married.
That's the same
So
reason I
it's-
didn't have sex for
That's why.
19.
Yeah, that's why.
That is a cheap and our romance.
Yeah, we gotta wait until it's really special.
Yeah.
As soon as she was divorced from Tommy Mottola, she flew down to Tampa and fucked him and said it was, honey dipped skin and sensual lover. And said it was the second guy she ever had sex with. It was Tommy and then DJ. Which
I don't
know.
expect her to be like a great writer. I don't know how many of her songs she's written. I don't know if she's considered a songwriter.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
Oh, yeah.
that's terrible writing. That's romance novel at the Stop and Shop checkout kind of
She
writing.
didn't. She didn't write the book.
Like the fuck.
Definitely,
I mean, that's so
there's
bad.
definitely a ghostwriter on that book.
That's so bad. It makes me think she wrote it.
No, then that's
the sensual lover
okay,
with
but then
honey
I'm
dipped. What
impressed.
the fuck does honey dip skin mean?
If Mariah Carey, who will make sure the camera's at a certain angle, like that
Yeah,
meticulous
down to
about
every
things, sat
detail.
down and wrote that entire book, I'm impressed.
I'm
Nope. Now I'm gonna. If that's your stance, I'm impressed. She wrote the whole book.
Dude, one of my
She's a
favorite
crazy
ghostwriting
person, man.
stories ever was when Gronk was asked if he read his book that he wrote, and he said most of it.
About like 80% of it.
My last job is in Times Square, and they have like, I don't know if they were bulletproof. I don't know what it was blackout shades. So if you're in Times Square, you can't see into the studio. And I have 2 people I saw them lowered for. Joe Biden, who was the vice president at that point, and Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey is one of those people.
Mariah Carey.
You don't realize.
That's
I mean,
the
Mariah
poll you
Carey
get there.
is a mega star. She is.
I don't think I lived for her. I've always known her as like the crazy diva, but I was very young when like, was it Honey Butterfly, whatever it was. I think I'm gonna guess I was 6 or 7 when that came out. I must guess it was 94ish.
Honey was a little bit later. Fantasy was like 90 and then Honey was like 98ish, I think.
Yeah, I wasn't like
because like Puffy and Bad Boy were all on that shit.
That wasn't. She just never. I never was
saw her.
in the
I was in New
Mariah
York
world.
City when Fantasy, no, the Butterfly album came out at Tower Records. It was like, I mean, you know, there's famous and then there's like famous.
Yeah.
There was,
And
she
she still
has
views herself in that
stands
light.
that are.
Like she still thinks it's
yeah.
that.
Dude, I think Mariah Carey is Nick Cannon's ex-wife at this point.
Yeah, which is crazy.
That's-
I mean, one of the
She
all-time
became super
meltdowns.
self-aware after the Rockefeller Center thing. When
Yes,
the
when she couldn't
audiovisual
sing
people
anymore.
were finally like, "Fuck you,"
Which is
and they
fine,
fucked
by
her
the way,
over.
though. I think she's just like, you know.
Oh, I think
yeah, you can't sing like perfect. I mean, she had like
Yeah.
arguably the best voice of all time. You're not gonna be able to do that when you're like 50 or however old she is.
It's top 5 funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I'm just gonna keep on waiting. You.
When she just bombed at Rockefeller.
Her singing.
Yeah.
I don't think I remember. Oh wait,
Oh,
with the
yeah.
Christmas tree?
Yeah.
With
Yes.
the
Okay,
mic
yes.
feed. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
bad. And I mean, top like 1 best thing I've ever seen was when she went crazy on Cribs. Getting into the tub was insanity.
I don't think I've seen that either.
You have not seen the Mariah Carey meltdown on
Wow.
Cribs? That's like when she
No.
went crazy. She was doing her Cribs tour, and she was so fucking nuts, and she just got into the tub with her clothes on. She just had like, I think she either had a
She just went
gown
full Skylar
or like
White?
a towel on, and she just like, and you know how she talks like, "Come on in, darlings," like comes in my bed, my bathroom, and like gets in the tub. And I'm sure MTV, that's what they put out, so I can't imagine what they cut, you know. But that's when she went fully crazy. So. Yeah, but shout out to DJ who like got in there. Yeah,
With
Jeets.
honey dip skin.
Sensual
Well,
lover.
again,
By the way,
whatever.
I can't believe
I
that.
wouldn't want to be described. If any girl, it's like I feel like getting described as sensual lover is like getting called cute.
Yes, and I can't imagine that Derek Jeter was sensual. I feel like he was fucking
Sensual lover just
throwing
means you ate her
dick.
pussy forever.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. That is probably what happened. You probably went down on her for a long ass time. Yeah, what would your skin be? What would Feitelberg's skin be described
According to the New York police, it's clear.
as? Clear, translucent. You would be like marshmallow
That is what
dipped.
my
Your
login-
marshmallow dipped skin.
My rap sheet says clear skin and black hair.
Black hair and
The
your
glow of
short
like
little
Cheeto
bitch
dust.
boy.
I don't know. How do you have it on you? Just that's what I'm,
My
yeah.
spin zone was they were just talking about how clear, like my complexion. It was
Right.
like he's got great.
Looks
fucking
like he has
skin.
proactive.
Skin.
Yeah.
Second half of the rundown is brought to you by CBDMD. I got the Jets game tonight. Thursday night football. All eyes on the Jets. Rundown.
Kyrie.
Kyrie.
Oh, jeez.
Kyrie Irving. Have you heard of him? With one of the, I think, the biggest dickhead quotes I've ever heard in my life on Kevin Durant's new podcast. He said that for the first time in his career, now that he's on a team with KD, that he could look down the bench, look across the court, see a teammate, meaning Kevin Durant, and say, that motherfucker can hit the big shot too. He's a man who played. He's a man who played with LeBron James.
I mean, it's a Kyrie said so many crazy things. Some awesome, some crazy, some just awesome crazy. Like again, I always revert back to him saying he was asked when he's on the Celtics, do you see yourself coaching later in your career when you get older? And he said, when I get older, I'm gonna be on a 60-acre farm in Texas, and you'll never hear from me again. That's an awesome quote.
And
This
speaking
is
of coaching, by the
fucking
way, he
insane.
changed his take on that because now he thinks he can coach too.
Oh yeah,
he said
did.
we don't need a coach.
They don't. The Nets don't need a coach. It can be KD can coach, Kyrie can coach.
Sorry, Nash.
Vaughn,
Yeah.
is that the assistant coach's name or what the interim coach's name
Jacques.
was? Was it Jacques Vaughn?
Jacques Vaughn.
Yeah. He
Poor
said
Steve
he
Nash.
said he
He's
can
like,
coach.
fuck you.
But like you know, he had a hand in picking Steve Nash.
Yeah.
Like, you don't fucking
maybe-
hire a
but
coach
so
and your 2 stars don't sign off
That
on.
probably means, like, pick some
Oh,
guy that you
Nash
don't
worked in
respect.
Golden State, so I mean that was the most. Yeah, that was
But like,
very
it's
clear
definitely
sign-off.
KD who like made the connection. But like, Kyrie has a little input there too.
Look, he did make the big shot on that Cavs team,
Bro,
but
One
he made
time-
this shot.
that team was
LeBron had like 14 in the fourth and a triple-double that entire series.
buckets. He had an on fire J.R. Smith that entire season.
Right.
Channing Frye.
Channing Frye. Have you heard
I don't think I
of
ever
him?
saw Channing Frye miss a fucking three-pointer that season.
I know
That team
Kyrie
had
had that big
26
game.
threes in a game.
Kyrie
in the
hits that
playoffs.
one
Oh,
shot.
that's right.
Kyrie
Like-
hits that one shot, and all of a sudden, like, LeBron's a bum.
You tell me he
and he's
didn't look
never
at
played
Iman
with the fucking
Shumpert
Sixers.
and say, I could toss it off to Iman Shumpert?
People were calling even like getting on him about the Celtics, and like I'm
Okay,
fine.
that one I actually buy.
I'm fine with him ignoring the Celtics. Like Jason Tatum
I
wasn't
buy
Jason
that.
Tatum. Jaylen Brown wasn't Jaylen Brown. You probably were the only guy who could hit the big shot on that team. But you played on a team with LeBron James.
LeBron James.
That guy can hit a big fucking shot.
Dude, I remember when he was first coming
did,
up. I'm
with
sure
him.
you remember this. Do you remember the time when they finally got through the Pistons and he hit that fucking like 40-footer when he had like 51 points in that game?
Oh,
like
yeah,
early,
the-
the 09, 07, 08
Yeah, his
years.
25 in a row or whatever.
Yeah,
and they
I
made
mean,
the
like
finals,
that.
yeah.
This is a dude who has had legendary moments. Definitely has hit the big shot. Definitely has had big fourth quarters. Definitely has been clutch.
This
It's
should
just
lead
fucking-
people to this should remind people, and I don't have any like issue with Kyrie. He hit the biggest shot of all my team's histories. Like, awesome.
Yeah,
won
do
a
you like
title.
him?
However, yeah, I'm never gonna hate Kyrie. Hit the
Right,
biggest
but
shot.
like now, are you just kind of like thank
I
you
just
for that?
don't
but
care.
you're-
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Like,
right.
whatever.
That's how I would
But
be.
it was him, not LeBron, as to why he was gone from that team. He won a title.
Oh,
he didn't
I thought
want to
you were-
be in the
First of all, I thought you were
shadow.
about to say it was him, not
He didn't
LeBron,
want
why
to be.
you won.
He
But
wanted to
yeah,
be in the shadow
Kyrie
of
wanted to be-
LeBron. Like it's
1000%.
like if anyone ever any doubt, like this completely confirms it. It's such
And
a dick comment.
Also, what also confirms it is like LeBron playing with Anthony Davis right now. It's not like LeBron was ever the guy being like, I don't want other stars. I want to be the man. If anything, he was always starving for more people because Cleveland never gave him any fucking money. So when you go play with Wade and Bosh, when you play with Anthony Davis, like he does not have a problem with playing with guys who are going to get him 13 and 14 assists a
I mean,
game.
like, I get what he's saying. I think now that he said it's like all of a sudden that's what they were talking about.
I mean,
now
like,
I don't
it's
believe
clear.
it.
It's like, he's like, what's Kyrie saying? Like, dude, 2 max deals. They got
I
two
bet you that
two
it
max
was
deals.
talked about then. I think
That
to
was the
characterize it as
moment?
like that moment we sealed it.
It
but I
feels
bet
like
it
he's
was
trying to play up some sort of like.
Yeah, you'd be like, that was when we discussed
People
it.
love
and,
that
like,
kind of
got
shit.
open to the idea of it.
Yeah.
Because I remember when that first came out, Kyrie was on the Celtics. I was like, this is fucking bullshit. You're reading too much into this. Because I'm not the conspiracy like guy kind of deal. And I mean, if that's when it was, or even if it's not like when you like fucking sign the blood oath, but even just like really
The
get
second
we were
he-
talking about
the
it,
second
yeah.
he was at that, what was it, that pep rally and TD Gar? What was that? Where he said
Yeah.
that he was
Oh,
gonna
The
stay-
season
What
ticket. It was like a season ticket holders
season ticket event?
Yeah.
The second that left his mouth, he was like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back here if
I
y'all
didn't mean
have
to say
me.
that. Yeah,
Such a
And
asshole.
also, like, there is a wiggle room there. Where, like, it seemed like we didn't want like the fans.
it's true.
'Cause he was talking to the
well,
fans,
that,
not to
of
the front
course,
office.
you can always kind of, it's all semantics at that point. I wonder where's Portnoy fall in this, because he is definitely growing to hate Kyrie. But then when you come back around and you're saying shit that condemns LeBron, it's like
If I were a Celtics fan, I would absolutely
Loathe.
despise Kyrie.
loathe him.
I think originally the hate was a little unwarranted. Now I'm like, nope,
Yep.
no defense
Total
there.
fucking
No reason
asshole,
to like that
man.
guy.
Total asshole. All right, last topic here. It's a sad one. It's devastating, actually. The worst consequence of coronavirus, aside from, of course, all the death, is the death of the snow day. There will
Ugh.
no longer be any snow days, at least here in New York. They have officially declared that a thing of the past because kids can just log into Zoom, and they've learned how well kids were able to virtually learn that there's no reason to give them the day off. You can just hop onto Zoom. And so that happiness and that joy and that bliss you feel when you wake up at 6 in the morning, you peer out and you see like 6 inches of snow and you hear the phone ring and you know the buses can't go and there's no school that day. You know it's Price is Right and sledding and snowball fights and hot chocolate and sleeping in and all that shit. Gone.
Well, they're dead forever.
Gone.
Forever. They're
Forever.
dead.
never
They're
come
dead
back.
They'll never be
it's ever.
We
That's
are
insane.
one of the last generations of people that
Because that's one of those first
enjoy
like
that.
older people like businessy things you learn as a kid. It's like, oh yeah, I hear the snow days lose to school. A lot of money. It's like you learn that pretty young. It's like, that's something the parents always tell you. There's
off.
snow days gone forever.
I actually,
So
I
sad.
laughed.
Gone
just
forever.
because I knew what I was talking about. I've never heard this. What does this mean?
What?
That snow days cost schools
Oh,
money?
I don't know. We were always told like, oh, the school like It costs them money to bring them back later on in the year once they go over the limit of, you know, the built-in
I
snow
remember
days.
the built-in snow day. And then we have to
they
go.
always said that, like, you can't
you
have any more
pay
snow
teachers
days.
more. Or some
Now
shit
they'll
like that.
never fucking.
Never.
That
No.
sucks.
Dude, I've said it a million times, but that was like the greatest days of my life. They were Christmas and the weekend in one magical fucking day. You just like watching the fucking ticker tape on the bottom of like the morning news, being like, is it Bristol County? Is it Bristol County? Come on, baby, give it to me. And you fucking celebrate like you won a World Series. It's amazing. The joy you feel when you hear the phone ring and your mom come upstairs and tell you like you're back in bed, but once you heard the phone ring, you got up and you put your snow gear on. So she's like, "Hey, school's canceled." And you're like,
I know,
"Bitch,
bitch."
I know. And then you fucking get up, you run outside, go find your friends. It's all of it is so fucking awesome. The fact that they can never have it. If I was saying that if I was a child right now, I would just start looking up how to blow up transformers. And I'd be like, okay, you want to cancel snow today? Guess what? No Wi-Fi in the house, motherfucker.
I did
no Wi-Fi in the neighborhood.
I had elementary school as a kid. Or in Connecticut, in my school district, FPSCT, Farmington Public School District. They really fool themselves. Just like one of the best public school districts in the country. Like, all right, fucking relax. Always the last to delay or cancel. And nothing killed me more because you're like, this is such a small state. How is the weather that different? How is the weather that different over there? Why is Milford School District closed? And we were always one of the last ones. But the thrill of that bottom line ticker.
Dude, and even the buzz you'd feel in the day before, with like the camaraderie of everyone in school being like, guys,
Or like
I
you're
think
packing up almost from school. You're like, bring your books home because you might need them for like the next day or whatever. You're
like,
gearing up for it.
Doing fucking snow dances. What were you saying? You turn
The
your
pajamas inside out.
Pajamas inside out.
95% of the time, never nearly as bad as it's supposed to be.
Never. When you
Never.
get 6 to 10 inches, it's one
I can count on my
maximum.
hand at the times it exceeded expectations.
But occasionally you get that day where it's still fucking snowing the whole day off, and you come home and you're like, we might have another one
think
tomorrow.
you're gonna be one more?
We might have
Dude, look
another
at this. Look
day
at the
off.
joy
Yeah.
on this panel right now. Gone forever.
Even the ticker now, like what? Well, like what do?
It's probably all
is the ticker
internet
still?
now.
Yeah, it's got to be
probably
all
all
internet.
I used to love the phone tree. I remember the news, but getting the call at like 5 in the morning, like, oh yeah, baby, there's only one reason that
The
phone's
school
ringing.
phone directory. Oh,
Yeah, and then it was your job to call the next person. It was a network of happiness just spreading throughout the state.
That's
Actually,
why-
what's funny here, New York City schools. So I guess this is probably all of New York State, but New York City schools never close. So for them to be like it's honestly, I keep telling people, it's probably like once or twice a year, especially with the way winters are now pretty like mild, that this is even an issue. So just let them have it because then there's always the chance, there's always the hope. Now it's like, it probably wasn't gonna happen anyway, but now that we know it's never gonna happen, well now we're gonna rebel and be like fucking, I hope they just tear down the internet and ruin, like, I hope they ruin society.
I'd
Your kids
become a
should
hacker
ruin
and
society. Rebel,
destroy-
revolt, protest.
Destroy Zoom.
Yeah. Take
I
it down.
I said we need to go back in time, Terminator style, Skynet, get rid of Zoom.
Go back to just March when school started doing Zoom and we couldn't do podcasts on Zoom. Remember that? Like nothing to process the first week. Never discovered Zoom. Just revert back to that. Zoom class will be done forever.
Man. So sorry, kids.
Yeah, that sucks.
You know, it's actually, this is the one. I'm actually not one of those like we walked uphill both ways and like you should have it as bad as I had it type of people. Like
You should have it as good as I had it. You should have a
Yeah,
snow
but
day.
I often harp on this shit that I think is like not like it's not like better for you now. Like it was better for me back. This was one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Clem was the opposite. Clem was like, I'm not gonna cry for these guys. It's like they've got, they got like the Avengers on HD right at their fingertips on demand whenever they want it. They've got free porn. They've got free music. Like everything else in their life is so awesome. If they don't get the snow day, then so
the
be it.
snow day, you
And I was
gotta
like,
have
Clem,
it.
you take all those things, combine them, and it's still not even a fraction of how happy you are for a snow day.
I wasn't like like a little. Yeah, we weren't like kids with like stick in a wheel in the
Yeah, we had some cool shit too.
we had some cool
all the stuff that I did,
Yeah.
to me, was in HD.
Yeah, it was
Like
awesome.
it was
Yeah,
like
you never
unbelievable.
know.
Like fucking Madden '94, unbelievable
I
graphics.
wasn't
I
loving
remember
the-
thinking when HDTV started, I remember being like, I don't really like see the difference. And now if I go back and watch STD, it's
Right.
like, whoa.
Great.
Pop in
But
that
in the
first DVD
moment-
I owned, the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes with Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, man, that was amazing. Crystal clear.
Man, I used to do Netflix. I used to get 7 DVDs at a time delivered, mailed. So I was burning them. So I would get 7, burn them, send them back, 7 more.
Would you sell them or would you?
No, I just had you know what? I had a little bit of a hustle in college where I would like kind of rent them to people, but I just had a monster book. I just had the best movie collection. I had a Blockbuster online, what's it called, like subscription, and a Netflix. So I was doing 7 and 7, and I would just burn them and send them. 90% of them I never even watched. I just wanted to have the best movie collection there was.
Blockbuster streaming. You know what company torpedoed that? One little fun fact here to end.
Oh,
Enron.
really?
Really?
There's
Is that the
there's
reason
fun
why?
fact of the
That's
day.
the reason why Netflix took over.
Netflix is what it is because Enron fucked up.
Wow.
No kidding. I didn't know
And
that.
then Enron, imagine that, like Enron
They did
ruins you and
many
then they
other
disappear.
awful things.
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah.
Ruined many lives,
Yeah.
but that was one of them.
All right, no snow days, and Derek Jeter's got supple honey skin, and fuck Kyrie Irving. That's the rundown.